Oi, eu sou a Ana Paula Dias do Andar e hoje a gente vai ter uma conversa muito especial com uma pessoa muito querida para mim, Larry Silverberg, do True Acting Institute. Então se preparem, porque a gente vai falar sobre muita coisa interessante. Hi Larry, how are you?
Hello Anna, how are you today?
I'm good. It's such a great pleasure to have you here with us. Thank you very much.
Nice to see you. I'm always happy to see you, Anna.
I'm always happy to see you too and to talk to you. Larry is the master for me on the Meisner technique. He's an actor, director, and teacher. He's an excellent mentor for a lot of teachers, directors, and actors, artists in general. He also writes, right? You wrote a lot of books on acting in general, right?
Yes, I have a number of books.
Today, you work as a director as well as you're working as a teacher and a mentor.
Yeah, I direct equity, actors equity. You know, in the U.S., the Actors Union is called Actors Equity for stage, and I direct for the stage, and I've written screenplays, you know, for films, but I've directed a lot all over the U.S. In theaters around the U.S. Yes, I love directing.
You stopped being like working as an actor, because I don't think we ever stop being artists in general, but do you act still?
I acted a few years ago in an off-Broadway play, a play by Athol Fugard. That was the last play I did. But, you know, with everything, I've been so busy with other projects that have taken more importance to me in the last few years. But I still consider myself primarily an actor, but I do much more writing and teaching and, you know, mentoring, and so that's what I've been doing. But I love acting, yes. And directing, I've been doing more directing than acting, and directing is I think one of the most pleasurable things I get to do. I love directing. Everything I do, it's all comes back to really the same values, the same tenets of what I learned as an actor. So it's all, to me, it's all one thing. As long as I'm creating, I'm very happy. Lately, I've been working with these digital puppets, creating theater with digital puppets, and I'm having a fantastic time.
Hey Shirley, what are you watching there?
It's a show with Larry Silverberg and Ana Paula Diaz from Brazil.
From Brazil? Yeah? What's it about?
It's all about acting and directing and writing books.
Well, what this guy Silverberg, he's into acting.
Yeah, he says he also does digital puppets.
Digital puppets? What's that?
How should I know? That's why I'm watching.
Well, look, Shirley, I'm hungry and I'm in the mood for a grilled cheese.
Well, go make it yourself, big boy. I'm busy here with the show.
Okay, Shirley, okay. Whatever.
That's so amazing. I didn't know that. I want to know more about it. There was a teacher of mine, and she's also an actress, director here in Brazil. And she used to say, a lot of artists think that being a teacher is less of being an actor or an artist.
Teaching, I think what a lot of teachers don't understand is teaching is a creative process. It has to exist in the relationship in the moment between two human beings, the student and the teacher. And I think too many teachers, just like so many actors, act by rote without meaning and without life. I think a lot of teachers approach teaching as if it was some kind of formula. You know, there's a technique that they follow the formula and it becomes dead, just like acting. So it is very much the same creative process. But teaching, I fell in love with teaching many years ago, and I never expected to do it. I never even thought about it. But a group of people asked me if I would coach them, if I would actually teach them the Meisner work. They saw me in a show, in a play I was in, and after the show, they came back and said, "We're forming a theater company. Would you train us? We want to know how you do what you do." And it was a great compliment, and so I gave it some thought, and I said, "Okay, let's give this a try." And it was just a real falling in love, like I did with acting, but it was a real falling in love with the sharing of these things I had learned from my teacher, Sanford Meisner. So yeah, teaching is an extraordinary experience.
Teaching was my first job as well. And I believe it's one of the best moments. I think we can change people and touch people a lot more than people can imagine when you are a teacher, when you are in this exchange process of learning.
Especially in the arts, but we can talk about acting. Actors come into a classroom, especially new actors, young actors who haven't studied yet or have studied very little, and they go into a classroom and they're very open and vulnerable, and so it's a sacred relationship. And unfortunately, there are many teachers who abuse that relationship, and that's a very ugly, dangerous thing. And so I would say to any young actors who are listening or watching this, if you haven't studied very much, you must be very careful and do your research and make sure you find a teacher who you can put your faith in to open yourself, so that you know that you can trust taking the kinds of risks you must take to learn the craft of acting. And that's why you, Anna, are my one go-to teacher in Sao Paulo, Brazil, because every actor can absolutely put their trust in you and their faith that not only will they learn the craft of acting, but they'll be with somebody who has such a big heart and compassion for their artistic process. And it's very important.
We can feel the way you speak about your craft, but I wanted to know, what is it that moves you in terms of teaching and directing actors?
More importantly than what moves me about teaching or the craft of acting is what moves me about being in the human predicament that we're all in together, the human condition, the human experience. What moves me is every day I'm deeply moved by human beings that I encounter out in the world. We read stories about what human beings are going through every day, the most spectacular, the most extraordinary, the most difficult, the most challenging conditions every day. And now that we have instantaneous news 24 hours a day, we see more about what's going on this little planet that we all live on together. And so there's no shortage of being deeply moved by the world we live in. And that's part of, I think that's part of our calling. If we're going to be an artist as an actor, then I think it's very, very important that the actor understands that we must wake up. To be an actor is a call to wake up to life. And sometimes that's not comfortable. But if we're going to act, then we're not here to seek comfort. We're here to shift something, to shift the planet on its axis. As an artist, I think that for all artists, if we're going to strive to be this thing called an artist, then we must strive towards tapping into the deepest places within ourselves to share what is most human about first ourselves, and then if we do that, then we can touch the people who come to witness us in our work. Our intrinsic need in being born into this human, as a human organism, is the need to be witnessed, to have our lives witnessed. If you've ever been around little children, watch me, mommy, look at me, look at me, look at me. And that never goes away. And so this is the basic act of theater, is the act of being witnessed. And so by sharing an authentic experience in the moment on the stage or in front of the camera, we're acknowledging the truth that every human being who comes to watch us work knows in their veins. And when an actor works, does all the theatrical faking and pretending, and it's like a slap in the face to the humanity of the people who come and pay $200 a ticket. It's a slap in their face to lie to them. And I think it's an unfortunate thing that a lot of the acting we see is so lacking in basic human truth.
And I believe that people, unfortunately, society has been lied to in so many ways. Human beings are being, treating other human beings in ways that people, unfortunately, got used to being lied to and not see it. And I believe as artists, we have to, work to wake them up, as you said, to bring honesty and to make them realize that we are all, we all have our feelings. People need to see other people that, they can relate to. So they feel, it's weird to say that, but they feel, included as being human beings, And,
well, a lot of young actors ask, especially young actors, ask this question: am I making a big mistake in choosing to be an actor? I mean, does being an actor make any difference? We have so many problems on our planet. We have so many big problems. Should I be doing something bigger and greater? Yet I'm called to be. I have this deep desire to act, and am I making a big mistake? And all I can say is my own belief, and if I didn't have this feeling, I couldn't have stayed in this thing called acting all these years. But that by bringing the truth to the stage and to the screen, by bringing your deepest truth and sharing that, and permitting the audience to receive that truth in the moment from their seats, to make that connection, that absolutely you make a difference in that person's life. We may not know how or in what way, but we want the audience to leave not talking about my acting. I don't want them to talk about my acting when they leave. I want them to leave and talk about their lives. I want them to go and say, oh my God, I have to call my sister. I haven't talked to her in 10 years. I have to do something. We want them to go out and talk about their lives, not about my acting. Who cares? If an actor goes out, oh, there's a good Meisner actor, it was all a waste of time. We want them to be reminded that they are human, that they are not a battery to the machine. Do we make a difference? I have to believe that we do, if we work in a way that is alive.
Yeah.
Alive.
I feel that like that too. And it's when we are in the classroom and you see that sparkle of life, being lit on people whenever, they see themselves alive, they feel themselves, vibrating life and honesty and truth. For me, sometimes people say, aren't you tired of teaching? I say, if you see what happens there, it would never be tired of looking at human beings, because people are so beautiful and they forget about that. They forget about, the essential of life sometimes, I think. Well, you're so, we can talk about this forever. And I get really emotional sometimes talking about this, because I believe so much in your work and you've always inspired me to do my work as I do. And you work with a lot of international students as well. So where have you been around the world teaching and acting? And what is it like for you to meet new cultures and, teach different people all around the world?
Yeah, well, the first thing is that there's no difference. I mean, there are differences about growing up in different parts of the world. That we share as human beings. We share, really, we're We are so deeply connected, and we're the same. We're made of the same material, you know, and we have the same kinds of challenges. Of course, our stories may be different, but since the beginning of time, I mean, you know, 5,000 years ago, people were saying in Rome or Greece or wherever, they were going to their yoga class, and 5,000 years ago saying, oh man, I'm so stressed out living in the big city. I got to get to my yoga class, you know? So human beings have never changed. The technology has changed, you know, the date on the calendar has changed, but human beings are human beings. But I love working in different countries, and I've taught and worked all over the world. You know, I've been to Brazil and I've taught in Brazil. I've taught all over Europe, and so and I love it. I love having a person translating, you know, interpreting, translating, whispering into my ear what they're saying in different languages. But it's you know, I love it, and I see. You know, I see the same acting issues everywhere. The demands of being an actor, of being what I call, you know, I call it true acting. I have my True Acting Institute. I call it true acting. I call it true acting because it's a choice. One must choose to be willing to do what's necessary to head in that direction, to strive towards being what I call a true actor. And there is a price to pay, and the cost is high, and the cost is personal. And not everybody is willing to pay that price, and that's okay. That's okay for them. Each person must answer that very big question for themselves. Am I willing to do what is necessary? And the work is incredibly demanding. Am I willing to do what's necessary to go through paying that price to get to the other side, where I will arrive at that ultimate place that an actor must arrive at? And that ain't easy. But my promise is that for anybody who has the commitment to go through that and is willing to pay that price, what's waiting on the other side is what I consider the ultimate joy of being an actor, being an artist as an actor. So that's what's waiting. But man, there's a lot of hard stuff to go through to get to that. Now, commitment is a very easy word. A lot of people use the word commitment, but we only know what that person means by using the word commitment when they are tested. We only know commitment by being tested. So I promise that once you make that commitment, you will be tested. Like Frodo in Lord of the Rings, right? He commits to getting the ring in the fire, but man, is he tested time and time again, over and over by, you know, all these huge challenges, right? So, but what does he do? He holds on to his commitment and ultimately gets back to the Shire. So what will each person do? You can say you're committed, like playing the guitar. Yeah, I'm committed to playing the guitar. But for most people, what that commitment means is, well, I'm going to play the guitar, but ooh, that hurts. And so as soon as it starts to hurt the fingers, they go, well, no, you know, I wasn't meant for guitar. I think I'll play piano. But when they find out piano is hard, they go, you know, I don't think I'm for piano. I think I'll play drums. Well, what happened to that idea of commitment? So being an actor takes a tremendous commitment, and it takes going through the hardship to get to the other side where the joy is waiting. But that's life, man. That's how life works. We know that life isn't easy. We want it to be easy. We hope it will be easy. I don't wish challenges for anyone. I wish it was easy for everyone. But you know what? Life is tough, and we know that's the truth for everybody. So acting is a reflection of that life truth. So it's a question each person must answer for themselves. Am I willing to go through what's tough to get to that ultimate place that every actor must arrive at?
Yeah. Do you feel a lot of difference in like the new generation in terms of looking at the craft differently? Because I feel like I'm 40 now, but I believe like about the 30s and 40s, a lot of people want the easy way. They wanted the fast way, you know. And do you feel the new generations that are coming, they are in the speed of the cell phone different than before? Do you feel any difference or not?
Oh, I think if you look back at the history of of theater and film, I mean, most of what comes out, if you look at movies, most movies, the majority of the thousands and thousands of movies are terrible. They're, you know, you have the one film of great beauty, of great originality, and then you have all the copycats, right? And that becomes the formula, and it's all about making money. So you have all the garbage, you have that one diamond of beauty, you know, that emerald piece of beauty that moves you and, you know, shakes you to your core, and you go, oh my God, how did they ever do this? It's so beautiful. And then you have all the people who try to imitate that and do the garbage that we see. And that's the majority, and that's always been true. So I would say it's the same thing in the acting class. It's always been true. There's always been the people who have strived for excellence, and there's always people who want the easy way out. And you know, the difference is, as you said, it's with technology. And the difference, I think, is that more so than ever, people come into an acting class, especially younger actors, who have making connection with another human being, because acting is, as I call it, it's an art of authentic relationship. Basic human relationship has been severely damaged because people from a very young age now are growing up and their only relationship is with their phone. And that's not, that thing inside the screen there ain't real. You know, being famous on Facebook, it's all made up. It's not for real. Those 10,000 Facebook friends are not friends. You know, being famous on Facebook is not, it's this very seductive kind of 15 minutes of fame kind of, you know, thing that sucks people in, but it's not a real human relationship. And when people come into an acting class, especially with the work we do, with the Meisner work, they're quickly reminded and challenged to make that simple human connection right now, without an agenda, without anywhere to go, to be, and this is something from the very beginning that actors, young actors, when I say young actors of any age, but new actors, when they come into class, it's incredibly uncomfortable. Suddenly there is no phone between them and another human being. And they have to make that simple human connection. And so I think that's the difference you're asking about. That's the big difference. And it's technology. Now, the great thing I see is that when people start to re-energize, reinvigorate their ability to make that human connection, they are blown away.
True.
When they're reminded of how deep and meaningful this encounter with another human being can be, without any made-up circumstances or imaginary situations or script, without any script, but to first start with that simple human connection. When that gets reinvigorated, it's absolutely transformational in the most deep and profound way. And that it's like bringing a person back to life.
Wow. So in this 30 years, is there any moment that you remember now that was like, this is it? Do you have any remarkable moment?
Every class to me is filled with many of those moments, many moments like that. you know. I love working with people who want to work hard. And fortunately, because of the way I've structured my classes, I only work with people who are willing to work very hard. It's really the main thing I require is that a student comes and they work very hard. I don't care about this thing called talent. You know, a lot of people who are watching this might be worried. And this was actually a big part of my, you know, the secret sauce workshop that you just watched. A lot of new actors are very worried. Do I have the talent? You know, and I've never cared about this word called talent. We can't worry about talent because whatever God has given us, whatever gifts we've been given by our Creator, whatever Creator you have, whatever you think about the Creator, whatever gifts we've been given, all we can do, all you and I can do, is work very hard to fulfill the gifts that we have been given. That's all we can do. And for me as a teacher, I will only work with people who work hard. And when people come to my class, it's very fast. If they know that if they're not there at the level of working hard with everybody else, then it becomes very uncomfortable and they won't stick around. But luckily, because of the way I've structured my classes, I only get people who are willing to work very hard, and they know that's what I will demand. So they won't come to me if they're, you know, not ready to work very hard, because that's all I care about. I know that if they work hard, can they act at the highest level? Yes, absolutely. You who are watching this right now, if you're worried about this and you're thinking, well, do I have the talent? I'm telling you, forget about talent. If you are willing and ready to work very hard, can you act? Absolutely you can, because acting is human. And that the truth is, as I talk about in the Secret Sauce workshop, you already have everything you need.
Well, you said about the secret sauce. What would you say now are the big highlights on the projects that you have? Well, through acting, you've written a lot of books about the Meisner technique, and also plays and scenes for actors, but also we have the other courses. What is on now?
Yeah, well, right now, as you know, because you and I are collaborating on a few things, I released recently an introductory workshop called the Secret Sauce Workshop. It's a wonderful work. I'd like to hear what you thought of it. I know you said in an email, you said you loved it, but you can tell people what you thought about it. But I wanted a nice introductory course to prove to people that they can act, and to show them how simple, to show people how simple acting is. I don't mean easy, because it's not easy, but that it's not complicated. So many teachers complicate it with all these crazy theories and philosophies and, you know, all these exercises that don't help the actor act. And it just makes the acting student confused and crazy in their head, and it puts them more in their head. We must help actors get out of their head. So I wanted to show in the Secret Sauce workshop, I gave what I call the 3 pillars of great acting. And I break acting down into the 3 main parts of acting that are human and that every person already has, already understands. And then when we train in acting, then I teach you how to do all that. So the Secret Sauce workshop, it's a very low cost workshop. It's, you know, it's, what did you think? What did you think of?
I was going to say that it's so beautiful that you decided to do that, because as you were saying previously, a lot of people create this thing about acting and make people not believe themselves and not, you know, trust themselves enough to really try the hard work, you know, because they create formulas, they create right and wrongs of doing things. And for me, the beauty of the Secret Sauce is that you bring the idea and also the words for people to remember that the basic, we have what is necessary. We are human beings. We have feelings. We have, you know, presence. You just have to be here. You have to open yourself up to listen to people, the basics of humanity that people unfortunately have been forgetting throughout the years. So I believe the secret sauce is a wonderful thing you did, because it really, I'm saying this a lot, but it lightens up people, I was like, oh, good, so good to hear that, because you feel the comfort in your heart that you're going the right way, you're following the right path of trusting and believing that this is art. It's not, just the rest is, you're just selling products or something else.
Oh, well, I'm so happy to hear that. And we should let people know that all the actors of Brazil, when they sign up to the Secret Sauce Workshop through you, they get 50%, they say they pay half price.
Yeah, it's true. So money is no problem there.
Yeah, we made it very affordable, very affordable. Now, the other thing online, the other big thing I'm doing online is my big mastery program, which is 2 parts. There's the beginning level, which is 8 weeks, and the advanced level, which is 16 weeks. But the thing that we have to tell people is that when they finish the secret sauce, then they can go right into what I call my blended mastery program. And this I'm doing with my certified teachers all over the world. And of course, in Sao Paulo, Brazil, with you actors who are in Brazil who speak Portuguese, you have the great gift of working with Ana in my blended program. So you'll be studying with me and with Ana at the same time. And so you study with me with incredible amount of training in the online videos. And then you work with Ana in person or through Zoom, however Ana does it, however it's working in Sao Paulo or through the Zoom sessions, but you're getting to work with both of us. And that's been fantastic. I've been doing it with teachers in many parts of the world, and the students have loved it. It's just been great because they get to work with me and see me teach students and watch my students working and doing the work. And then they go into class and they do the work in person with the teacher in their country, in their own language. So it's been, that's been fantastic. And I tell all of you who are watching, start with the secret sauce, get a good taste, and then ask Ana, you can communicate with Ana and ask, when are you starting the next blended class so we can study with both you and Larry. And you know what, I loved, when I was in Sao Paulo, I loved being there. Of course, that I was brought there by the great filmmaker, Susana Amaral, who's no longer living, but one of the great artists of our last century. And so she brought me to Sao Paulo after being in my class in the US. And so I loved being there, and I worked with so many great Brazilian actors in my classes. So I welcome all of you from Brazil. Please, I would love to have you in the class and get to work with Ana and myself. And then we will do and then after the beginning one, there's the advanced one, and that will be a blended program as well, doing all the advanced work. And it's also a certificate program, so you get a certification from my True Acting Institute when you complete the work, and from Ana's Be True, and you get a certificate that we will both sign for you.
I was very lucky to have crossed my path to yours and learn such a well-hearted and good-hearted person as you are. Your art is beautiful, and that taught me also how to spread this idea and the studies. So I'm very happy to be.
Well, I'm equally a fan of yours, and thrilled because I love you, Ana, and I'm so happy that you're there in Brazil bringing this work to the actors. It's so important to have somebody like you, doing the work with them, so they get the real experience, not some crazy, concoction of formulas but to do the real work. The beauty of the Meisner work that a lot of people who haven't done it don't know, it's the thing that makes it different than any other technique. And there are other good techniques, but the thing that makes it different, it's meticulously step by step. And if you do each step fully with a teacher who knows how to teach those steps, you can't lose. You have to win. You win. You always win if you do each step fully. And so that's the invitation, of course, of our classes, to do each step fully. And that makes it different than, a lot of techniques do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but the Meisner approach is meticulously laid out carefully, step by step. Each step lays a foundation for what's coming next. And each step builds on the one before. And so by the time a student at a certain point, they go, oh, whoa, now I understand how all those steps got me to this amazing place.
Is there any final thing you want to leave to the world and the future generations? Everybody is watching us.
Well, listen, if you stayed along, if you have stayed this long, I just want to thank you. Thank you for your great attention. I hope this has been of some interest to you, those of you who are watching. I'm sure if it wasn't, you would have shut this off a while ago. But thank you for sticking around. It's been a great pleasure to be with you, Anna, as always. So anyway, I invite all of you who are watching, join us for class. We welcome you. And thank you, Anna. Thank you for hosting this very fun session online.
Thank you very much. I'll leave all the contacts. You can get in touch with Larry as well, and with all the blended program and the secret sauce and everything that you want to know about great and truthful acting. Thank you very, very much.